Oh, it's such a big moment for the team to get Britannia, the race boat, in the water after many months of design and build, and I think 90,000 man-hours of design and manufacture. So huge commitment from everybody involved, and a big relief to get the boat in the water on schedule. And now, of course, excitement to get her out on the water and put her through her paces. I think she looks amazing. It's the best looking boat I've ever seen, and I'm obviously biased, but I really do think that. And I said to Nick Holroyd how proud he and the design team must be to have created something that looks that great. Of course it looks fantastic. The important thing is how it goes, and we certainly hope that she goes like a rocket, just as she looks like a rocket. We obviously can't wait to get sailing, because it's been a long time going through the transition, getting here to New Zealand, going through the quarantine process, getting everything set up. The boat got here on schedule, and we'll be sailing it pretty much on schedule. And yeah, everyone, the whole team, of course the sailors, just so excited to get out on the water, and then pretty quickly start lining up with the competition and see how we go pace-wise, which will of course be the biggest deciding factor in the success of the team. Yeah, we haven't got long at all. 8 weeks until the first Christmas race, and in the scheme of things that's going to go in a flash. And to learn how to sail the boat, the nuances of the boat, the new systems that are in the boat, we've really got to work cut out. We've got to make every second on the water count, and then we get through that Christmas race, and we've got to keep the development going, through the Challengers Series and then on through to the Cup itself. And that team that can be the most efficient and make the biggest gains will probably come out on top. We're all under a lot of pressure. I mean, I think just the amount of effort each individual in the team, and the team as a collective, and our backers have put into this.
This is the Sailing World on Water news for October 23, 2020. Here are the highlights in the sport of sailing globally in the last 7 days. Sir Ben Ainslie launched Britannia 2, his race boat for his challenge for the 36th America's Cup. Arkia Paprec describes their foils for this year's Vonnie Globe. We look at how the AC-75 flies. In the 2000 Vonnie Globe, Yves Parlier was in contention when his boat was damaged. In Malta, Giovanni Soldini has success on Maserati. The young sailors at the European Opti Championships were having a ball. Ineos Team UK explains their AC-75 deck layout. Our regular AC experts, Vittorio and Pietro, look at Patriot, the New York Yacht Club's Boat 2, and its Day 1 nosedive.
Le foil, il est divisé en 3 secteurs. Un qui s'appelle le shaft, l'autre qu'on appelle le coude, et après le tip. Quand on veut faire du près, on cherche à créer une certaine stabilité avec basse vitesse et surtout une force latérale. Donc on s'appuie surtout sur le tip. Quand on est au portant, on a besoin justement de que cette étrave reste en dehors de l'eau, donc on essaye de s'appuyer ici. La première génération des foils, la jauge ne permettait qu'un seul degré de liberté qui était le retracter et le sortir de la coque. Dans la nouvelle jauge, donc la nouvelle génération de bateaux, il y a un deuxième degré de liberté qui a été permis. Ce deuxième degré de liberté, nous on a choisi de le prendre en ce qu'on appelle le rake, qui est un mouvement, longitudinal de ce foil.
Maintenant, on est capable de charger ou décharger le foil en fonction des conditions. Donc en gros, apporter de la puissance ou enlever de la puissance au bateau en temps réel. Dans le petit temps, on peut charger beaucoup les foils pour qu'ils soient très efficaces. Et dans le gros temps, à haute vitesse, on peut les décharger pour limiter leur effet sur le bateau et les chargements sur le bateau.
You'll see a lot of people who are pro sailors or really into sailing also get into aviation, and I think it's a similar thing. You know, they're driven by the challenge it presents, and there's a lot of cool parallels. A plane is similar to a sailboat, you know, for the 36th America's Cup, this would be your main foil. So underneath the water, if you were just to look at maybe this section only, you would have a foil and then a flap coming off of it. You know, you just have a clean foil shape. And then as you add lift, so if you're just focusing on this section only as a foil, not so much extending, but hinging your flap down. And as you hinge your flap down, you obviously create lift. But that's coupled with the rudder on the AC, which is, if you come back here, so what's cool about the tail of an airplane is it's exactly like the rudder of a AC-75. So you have the ability to change the amount that rudder is lifting. As you provide lift on the rudder, you change the pitch of the boat, or the trim. So the closer you get the stern of the boat to the ground, you're actually increasing the angle of attack on the main foils, which provides the lift to move the whole platform up. And then you have a series of, adjustments which kind of keeps everything in equilibrium. But that's what's so cool, is because of the lateral axis of the plane or of the boat, you can actually regulate your flying using the rudder as in an airplane. You look at this airplane and you think this is complicated. Compared to the AC-75, this is a walk in the park. We can take this thing out flying and we can understand how it works and everything we need to know. One single person can't do that with an AC-75. You can't, there's not a single one person that understands how everything on that boat works. And that's what's crazy about it. It's such a massive team operation. And under the hood is much more impressive,
Vendée Globe 2000, Yves Parlier fait longtemps partie du groupe de tête avant de subir une avarie. Malgré cette cruelle désillusion, il veut continuer la course. S'ensuit une réparation héroïque.
Quand j'ai dématé dans le Vendée Globe 2000-2001, je me suis dit c'est con parce que j'aurais eu mon système, j'aurais pu continuer la course plus facilement que de réparer mon mât en Nouvelle-Zélande.
Vendée Globe 2020, le système auquel Yves Parlier fait allusion, le voilà. Le Liberty Kite Safety, une aile de kite qu'il a conçue pour la traction des bateaux de 4 à 18 mètres.
Ça évite, pour le cas particulier, des voiliers qui dématent. Les problèmes qu'il peut y avoir de remonter coûte que coûte les morceaux de mât, tout en permettant au bateau de pouvoir remonter au vent.
Peu encombrant, le Liberty Kite Safety ne pèse que 2 kg. Son installation prend moins d'1 heure et permet au bateau de se déplacer à une vitesse allant jusqu'à 4 nœuds.
Si tu perds un gréement, tu n'as plus rien pour te propulser derrière. Du coup, tu vas aller plus loin dans le danger pour essayer de récupérer un maximum de choses. D'avoir un système comme ça, pour moi, je me dis, potentiellement, si tout part, j'aurai quand même un petit quelque chose pour avancer. Puis je pense que tu rentres à la maison sous voile, même si tu as abandonné pour casse, c'est quand même pas mal, quoi.
À l'instar de Clément Giraud, 7 autres concurrents vont embarquer cette belle innovation, véritable apport en matière de sécurité sur les courses océaniques, aussi longues que le Vendée Globe.
Cette aile de kite aussi est rassurante pour nous en direction de course parce qu'on sait qu'il y a un moyen de revenir au port relativement rapidement. Du coup, on n'est pas non plus obligé d'amener quelqu'un vers lui ou de dérouter quelqu'un. Donc cette aile a tout à fait sa place sur les bateaux, à condition d'être utilisée pas comme une voile supplémentaire, mais comme une voile de complément en cas d'avarie majeure.
Eh sì, sarà un'edizione difficile con poco vento, sicuramente una regata lunga. Direi che il nostro record è abbastanza al riparo. È stata una mattina un po' speciale perché ci siamo svegliati a Ragusa alle 3:30 del mattino. Siamo adesso arrivati a Malta perfettamente in orario e dobbiamo aspettare alla fine fino a mezzogiorno per partire. Direi che la prima parte della regata sarà bella con 15 nodi, un po' di vento fino diciamo arrivare in Sicilia, poi nello stretto e soprattutto a nord per il passaggio di Stromboli e tutta la parte nord del percorso sarà abbastanza difficile con poco vento, variabile, le previsioni ovviamente non sono d'accordo su niente, quindi bisognerà vedere come giocarsela. Ci sono 5 trimarani sulla linea di partenza, uno è un nostro gemello, c'è Brian Thompson al timone che è sicuramente il massimo esperto di Mod 70, visto che se li fa tutti da Fedo a Argo, è sempre sulle barche migliori. Poi c'è Ultimate Motion che è un trimarano di 80 piedi, 90 piedi, l'abbiamo già incontrato 2 volte, uno alla Cape Turio che ci è andata molto male, ma l'altra invece alla 600 dove siamo riusciti a batterlo senza grossi problemi, per cui dipenderà molto dalle condizioni, dall'equipaggio, dalle scelte che si faranno. Poi la Sicilia è un campo di regata difficile, bisognerà vedere insomma. Sì, siamo un bel equipaggio, John è tornato a bordo, siamo molto contenti. C'è Lorenzo Bressani che è la prima volta che viene con noi, però si è fatto il trasferimento fino in Sicilia dalla Spezia, ha già preso in mano la barca, mi sembra perfettamente integrato e per cui perfetto. Poi c'è Vittorio che è ormai da molti anni che ci frequenta fra una regata olimpica e l'altra e quindi bene, il resto è la base del solito equipaggio. Ci manca Guido che non poteva venire, però siamo tranquilli.
Welcome to Portoroz.
Bem-vindo a Porto Roș.
Tervetuloa Portoroz.
Bienvenue à Portoroz.
Vitaję was u Portorozie.
Shalom, Portoroz.
Willkommen in Portoroz.
Benvenuti a Portoroze.
Dobrodošli u Portorožu.
Today concludes the first day, day one of the qualifying series at the 2020 Optimus European Championship here in Portorož, Slovenia. And today we had a light breeze day. We took all the fleets out, boys and girls together. We managed to have 2 races for the boys' fleets, all 3, and 1 race for the girls' fleet.
It was great. Light to medium conditions today. And yeah, very shifty.
I didn't do so good, and the wind was kind of like not so strong that I would have wanted to, but it was quite nice.
First race today was 6th and the second was cancelled, so I'm very happy with my results.
They will continue tomorrow morning, which will be day 2 of the qualifiers. Girls, I believe the intent is girls will go out first. We will see how the conditions firm up and hopefully we'll have some good breeze tomorrow.
My name's Freddie Carr. I'm a sailing team member with Ineos Team UK, and I'm primarily a grinder. Our philosophy from the off is the sailing team said to the designers, make the fastest boat possible, and we will fit in around your design. To have the deck mock-up that we've got behind us and stand in the positions and feel kind of where your teammates are going to be around you, see the view that you're going to have, kind of position where you're going to put your screens for all your information, is a huge asset. What we're trying to do with the boat, much like a football team or a rugby team where you can break the team down into kind of different groups within the team, we've got a similar philosophy for how we're going to sail the boat. At the back of the boat, we have these 2 grinding pedestals, 2 of our 4 grinding pedestals on each side of the boat. And the people you're going to see back here are the big units. And throughout the 45-minute race, there's going to be a constant requirement for hydraulic oil. And these guys back here are going to be grinding non-stop at a pretty high wattage, sort of 250, 300 watts. I mean, most people would struggle to do that with their legs for 40 minutes. What that will do is provide the power from the hydraulic pumps for our wing trimmer, or our mainsail trimmer, which is the huge sail up here. Ian, our mainsail trimmer, will be moving that as much as he can to just get the boat out the water on the foil and ripping along. The other person we have back here, this pedestal facing forwards, is where our tactician's going to be, Giles. We've got our Power 4 with Giles involved as the tactician back here, and then we've got the main man, Ben, driving. On our original deck mock-up, we had Ben driving at the very back of the boat, kind of a traditional yacht style, and we had everything in front of him. And he just found it all a bit noisy. To have 10 guys in front of him grinding and ropes going everywhere would distract him away from sailing the boat. Mornings like that, where you come down and you make those big changes that you wouldn't necessarily get from a simulator or from looking at a computer screen, but when you have the mock-up, it becomes really obvious that you need to change something. So these three here are going to be driving, trimming the big sail and flying the boat out the water, this little unit. And then we've got our two pedestals at the front here, and you can see the difference between the back and the front is this is where the winches get involved. And we've got a winch either side that controls the front sails, which is going to be the Code Zero and the jib. And then we have a pit winch at the front, and what the pit winch does, it's your workhorse winch. It hoists the Code Zero, it drops the Code Zero, it hoists the jib, it drops the jib. This is like the mechanical area. This is where the winches are getting spun. This is where the ropes are flying everywhere. And this is where what we call the boat handling goes down. This is like the how we do the tacks and the jibes kind of team will operate. You can see how we've got 4 guys up here doing fundamentally the boat handling, 3 guys in the middle flying the boat, turning the boat left and right, it goes up and down, and the throttle man. And then we've got 3 guys at the back, plus Giles, the tactician, putting the power down. You're doing 50 knots across the water, supported by something the size of an ironing board keeping you foiling. So, yeah, when you put it like that, it's absolute nonsense, really, isn't it? But it's good fun.
Patriot in English.
The first boat 2 of American Magic, so first boat 2 for AC75, which looks quite different from boat 1, as we expected quite a bit. And as the first thing we can notice has the small keel we saw for the first time on Luna Rossa, on boat 1 of Luna Rossa, which evidently was a good choice from the Italian guys. So we know now almost everyone has this kind of keel. We know Ineos had added this fake keel, not really good keel, but a sort of added keel to their boat 1, and for sure they are going to show quite actually in a couple of days, probably even less, boat 2, and we will see for sure this kind of keel. And also Emirates Team New Zealand has a sort of let's say bottom which is more similar to a pregnant dolphin than a keel, but we will see in boat 2 probably they also will show this kind of feature.
In something thinner, most probably, because on the Kahu, on their mule, they showed something quite different. So probably they will go for something like American Magic is showing, or something like this. As a general shape, the new American Magic, the boat called Patriot, is very, very similar to Luna Rossa number 1. Except for some details which are quite important actually, like for example the shape of the bow, which is not closing on itself. It has like a convex surface, shows like a convex surface, like a 18-footer Australian skiff, no? Something like this.
Exactly. So this is another feature we see on the second boat in a row. So in boat, let's say 1.5 of Emirates Team New Zealand, and now in boat 2 of American Magic. So it's actually a convex shape of the bow instead of a concave one. And this is probably for 2 factors. One is a similar factor from which the keel is there. It's because they need probably a small volume in the bottom part of the bow in order to be able to pass through the waves and do, let's say, not a really nosedive, but a little bit of dolphining and hitting a little bit the waves without decelerating too much, no?
And going back down in the water, so having to accelerate again. So that's one of the reasons. But the problem is once you nosedive, then this can be a little bit more of a trouble than it was before on boat one. No, we already saw, by the way, on the first day of sailing. No,
for sure. Instead of having this more projectile-shaped bow, which was able to go inside the wave or to nosedive without hurting too much. Now the bow obviously has a sudden increase in volume, so the deceleration is a lot more concentrated, so the forces are much bigger. We already saw a nosedive in their first sailing day, and this is actually interesting from different point of view. And actually, we saw that probably there is no damage. We didn't see any damage, and I don't think any major damage is reported, even though the boat is in her first day of sailing. So I'm pretty sure some damage will be there. So
there has been a ventilation at the rudder. So then, first of all, too much heel, which we saw. It's always bad in this kind of boats. Then ventilation of the rudder, and then what happened is that the boat came up and then it came down again with hitting the water in quite a rude way.
Exactly. What we can suppose from this video and from what we think about the bow is that actually the bow is helping quite a bit in lifting the boat. So obviously the top part of the bow is lifting the boat quite a bit and is a little bit wingly shaped. So the center of lift, when the boat is going really fast, in this case there was quite a bit of wind, so we are guessing they were going quite fast. The bow is actually lifting the boat quite a bit, and this is good because they can have less lift on the forward foils, and so also in general probably a better balance with less drag in general. This is for high speed.